The wise are instructed by reason, average minds by experience, the stupid by necessity, and the brute by instinct. Nature has planted in our minds an insatiable longing to see the truth. In everything, satiety closely follows the greatest pleasures. There is nothing so absurd that it cannot be believed as truth if repeated often enough. To be content with what we possess is the greatest and most secure of riches. A friend is, as it were, a second self. The sinews of war are infinite money. Freedom is a possession of inestimable value. It is the nature of every person to err, but only the fool perseveres in error. We are not born into the world to do something about everything, but to do something about something. It is the peculiar quality of a fool to perceive the faults of others and to forget his own. Friendship improves happiness and abates misery by the doubling of our joy and the dividing of our grief. There is no duty more obligatory than the repayment of kindness. We must not say every mistake is a foolish one. While we are postponing, life speeds by. The wise man sees in everything the likeness of all things. As I give thought to the matter, I find 4 causes for the apparent misery of old age. First, it draws us from active accomplishments. Second, it renders the body less powerful. Third, it deprives us of almost all forms of enjoyment. Fourth, it stands not far from death. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. To be wrong is nothing unless you remember it afterwards. The pursuit, even of the best things, ought to be calm and tranquil. While there's life, there's hope. We are not born for ourselves alone, but for our country and for our friends. Silence is one of the great arts of conversation. To be ignorant of what occurred before you were born is to remain always a child. A room without books is like a body without a soul. The life of the dead is placed in the memory of the living. A happy life consists in tranquility of mind. The welfare of the people is the ultimate law. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. The face is a picture of the mind with the eyes as its interpreter. The first law of history is to dread uttering falsehood. The next, not to fear stating the truth. The enemy is within the gates. It is with our own luxury, our own folly, our own criminality that we have to contend. The shifts of fortune test the reliability of friends. We are all motivated by a keen desire for praise, and the better a man is, the more he is inspired by glory. As I approve of a youth that has something of the old man in him, so I am no less pleased with an old man that has something of the youth. He that follows this rule may be old in body, but can never be so in mind. The budget should be balanced, the treasury should be refilled, public debt should be reduced, the arrogance of officialdom should be tempered and controlled, and the assistance to foreign lands should be curtailed lest Rome become bankrupt. No one can give you better advice than yourself. The higher we are placed, the more humbly we should talk. A man of courage is also full of faith. The first law of history is to dread uttering falsehood. The next, not to fear stating the truth. If you have a garden and a library, you have everything you need. The authority of those who teach is often an obstacle to those who want to learn. He who is not a good servant will not be a good master. In times of war, the law falls silent. The good of the people is the chief law. What we do not know, we cannot teach. What is morally wrong cannot be politically right. Advice in old age is foolish, for what can be more absurd than to increase our provisions for the road the nearer we approach to our journey's end? The safety of the people shall be the highest law. Men are like wine, some turn to vinegar, but the best improve with age.